Morning everyone. We've got an incredible speaker called Danny from Manchester on today's Project Recce online course. He's got such an inspirational story of how he was able to turn his life around from harsh beginnings and going down the wrong track to now having a successful business, motivating others, helping the youth across Greater Manchester to become better versions of themselves. When I like to formulate my ideas, I look back in history, specifically to military history. You can see on the shelf behind me there's an awful lot of military history books. And when I think of, for example, resilience, I'll get my key concepts from reading about the experiences of others, whether that's Bill Slim in Burma, or more specifically, the retreat from Kabul. This is one of my prized possessions. It's an original copy. I've got some incredible lessons on that. So the 7 key tenets of resilience in my mind are honesty, knowledge, acceptance, patience, responsibility, bravery, and selfless commitment. And if I take a book like this, I'm able to work out some examples of how that happens. So I don't know if you're familiar with the story, you can Google it, it'll be on Wikipedia or something. Honesty. Well, the British military under Elphinstone, when they went into Kabul, they overstretched themselves. Were they honest about the situation they were about to face? Were they honest about whether they could realistically support a force which was across the Hindu Kush mountains from the large garrison in India? They needed to have a knowledge. They needed to have a knowledge of Mohammed Dost, of the situation in Afghanistan, who supported him, who didn't support him. And these are mirrored very much within recent contemporary operations in Afghanistan as well. Who works with who? Who's trying to screw over who? And did the British force know that at the time? Acceptance. Well, they were trapped in Kabul, just about to get to the winter. And the reinforcements from India were not going to be able to get to them until the following spring. So there was going to have to be an acceptance and therefore patience that you're either going to wait it out, or the decision was made by Elphinstone, no, we're going to have to retreat back to India. This goes back to the honesty thing as well, because obviously the Afghans, they'd be feeding people a lie, and it's more than likely that if you're in a vulnerable position that you're going to start believing people where typically you would have questioned it. But because of that situation, there was promises made, oh yeah, we'll give you safe passage back to India, and so therefore it was accepted that that was going to be fact. However, in the end, as we know, it did not happen that way. They overextended themselves, they treated people badly, and so therefore they had to expect that probably people wanted to get revenge on them. Responsibility. Elphinstone had to take responsibility, but also the British High Command back in India had to take responsibility. They hadn't adequately prepared the troops, they hadn't given them adequate logistical support or reinforcement support, and so therefore they were cut off. And so this is where those 2 key last points of resilience came in. What the British troops did and all those camp followers as they extracted back to India. There was absolutely phenomenal accounts of bravery, of selfless commitment, of officers wrapping the colours around the waists, fighting to the last man, saying that they will never surrender, knowing that they were in absolute dire straits. Within the first 24 hours, 3,000 people were killed on that march. They died mostly from the winter, but they also died from tribesmen up in the passes, shooting at them continuously, constantly. The bravery on show there, as we'd expect from the British forces, was just phenomenal. And this is where we can get those true lessons of resilience, where we can see just how fantastic our fighting troops are, our resilient strength and fortitude to continue going even when the odds are all against us. And this is where we can take those lessons, both for today in the current COVID-19 crisis and for future issues where we need to dig deep and get resilience. So I would advise that people look into military history when they want to find out some great examples of leadership, planning, execution, in this case, resilience. So anyway, have a great day. Peace out.